Hi, everyone watching this video. If you are fans of American football, you must have watched the Super Bowl just 2 days back. And you know, it's a huge thing. Every player on that field is a celebrity. There's so much glamour and glitz, even in the halftime show with Snoop Dogg and so many people performing. And almost every player after the game, they become an influencer. I'm super happy to be speaking to one such celebrity influencer in the dental community who's kind of changed lives. I got in touch with her to actually get some tips on Instagram and how to create a community there some time back. I'm super happy and honored she actually agreed to speak with us today. So over to you, Rinkal. Can you quickly introduce yourself in 30 seconds?
First of all, thank you so much, Karthik. I think I have to learn from you how to introduce people. So that is one art you have. Thank you so much for such a lovely introduction. I do not deserve any of that as of now. But just to let everyone know, my name is Rinkal and I'm from India, from Punjab. And I live in Canada. I moved here in 2016 and I recently got accepted to University of Loma Linda. So I'm very excited to be here and share my thoughts and experiences with you all.
That's wonderful. You might think that's a stereotype for somebody to go from Punjab to Canada, but she is an exception. And let me start with the exception first. Rinkal, how did you get into school, into such a competitive university like Loma Linda, without any support from any coaching center or counseling group at all? What's your magic?
I don't have any magic. I think whatever I had in my resume or my application, I just try to make it unique and try to connect everything to each other. For example, when I was very little, I lost my mom and my dad sent me to a boarding school. So that boarding school had a lot of sisters and that was the school where I was raised. And when I was interviewing at Loma Linda, I connected that experience of my school to this school, that how I will be able to relive those days. So this is one example. I think my whole application was connected with my life, and that's why whenever I was interviewing, it was very natural. And I remember my interviewer at Loma Linda also told me that whatever you say, it goes very well with your expressions and your eyes. So I can tell that you're very truthful. So, and that's what they want to see at the end of the day, right?
They want to see the human within each one of us, and by sharing genuine stories, that really comes out. Let me kind of ask you another question right after. People find it difficult, or they don't, to share such personal stories. They think they're boasting, or they think I'm trying to earn the interviewer's sympathy. That feeling that comes in when I'm sharing such a personal, deep story like yours. What is your take on that? Like, should we beg for their sympathy? Should we express with all our heart? What happens?
Very good question. I think whatever and whosoever we are, it's out of the circumstances that we've gone through. And my life has been built on challenges. So if I don't mention that in the interview, they won't know what kind of person I am. So if you ask me, one of the components that was core of my application was resilience. Because when I was little, I lost my mom, and then growing up, I lost my brother and my father through an illness. So I struggled through that for many years. And that's what made me very strong and resilient. And I wanted to showcase that in the interview because I've gone through so many challenges. So when I go to school, that experience is going to help me go through these challenges again in school. And I can also help my fellow students if they go through that. I think it's important to mention that, but not maybe in a better way. So in a way that you derive strength from those challenges.
Wonderful. We are the consequence of our circumstances, and therefore feel proud in sharing it. Beautiful. So the next question is about Canada. A lot of people do definitely consider Canada as a step in the process before they get into dental school in the US. How did being in Canada, traveling to Canada, help you or support your journey?
I think when I came to Canada, I joined a lot of community organizations here. For example, I joined IWAM, that was for refugee women. So when I went there, I learned what challenges these women are going through. And then my dad had an illness called ALS. So I learned a lot from that, and I joined an ALS center here where I was helping people. And then a lot of other community organizations I joined, which helped me to know about the society here and how life in North America works. And that definitely helped me a lot in the interviews. And then also, I was working in the dental clinic, so getting recommendation from the dentist definitely helped. So everything together allowed them to know that I have adapted to this new life in North America. So I will be able to adapt to this new life again in school.
Wonderful. I think the key takeaway from what you said was the fact that Canada can be showcased as a part of North America. And by saying that,
Exactly.
it's connected with the US because it's in the same continent. You get to learn the culture, you get to learn the way of living, the way of patient interaction, and so on. Fantastic.
Right.
Interesting way to showcase Canada in your admissions.
Also, I want to add from India, when you have to immigrate to US, it's difficult, right? Because you don't get your permanent residency. But if you are a graduate, a dental graduate, and then you have 1 year experience, you can immigrate to Canada as a permanent resident and then stay here and get all these experiences and then apply to US schools. So it's even better than just going to US, not being able to work and being on a visitor visa is very expensive. Here you can work and do everything, so makes life easier.
Oh, that's a fantastic fact. I didn't know that myself. So if you complete BDS and you have 1 year of work
Mhm.
experience in India,
Yes,
then you can start practicing in Canada without like taking a license exam.
exactly. No, not practicing as a dentist. You
Mhm.
become a permanent resident. You come here, you work as a dental assistant, or you do any other job. So that way, you're also making money to apply to schools, and you have a house, and you have your credit line started, everything that you enjoy as a green card holder or as a citizen in US, right? So then when you are here, you can work at all these places and earn that experience. Whereas when you're in US, you can only do shadowing. I know that because my husband is an immigration lawyer, so I know a lot of students who immigrate to Canada like that.
Wonderful, wonderful. That's great. I mean, immigration is such a big mess. It makes all of us so anxious, and
Yes.
to have a lawyer at home makes a big difference. Can you tell us about whether you have children and
I don't have children as of now, and I live with my husband here in Canada. So he's been a great support for me. And when you asked that I didn't take any help from any coaching center, it was because my husband was helping me and also a lot of friends and relatives. And as I mentioned before, I was doing Curing Smiles. So everyone came together, all the aspirants. So we would share our experiences and learn from each other's weaknesses.
yeah, on that note, so tell us about what was Curing Smiles and why you started it in the first place. And then also tell us a little bit about your more recent initiative, Pink Tooth.
Okay. When I was going through this cycle, I felt there was a lot of information that was missing. I got to learn a lot from your YouTube channel, I would say. Even the little videos you would always make on leadership and community service and how to, present your profile. So I didn't have a lot of knowledge. So I thought, why not all the candidates come together and share their experiences, what they've gone through with different schools and how they think we can improve. So that's why I started that initiative, and everyone would come together, and it was COVID and we didn't know how to enhance our resume. So somebody would say, I went to that school, I did that, I started this project. So that's how we would get ideas. And I think that helped a lot because from those discussions, I started a non-profit organization called Giggles and Teeth, where I was connecting with schools here in Canada, and we were virtually teaching them toothbrushing techniques and other things. So when I talked about that in my interview, they really liked it because they thought I did something in COVID which was different. That's why I had, and then you get to network with people of your profession. You get to talk to them, and
Network is your net worth. Uh, I'm
yeah.
glad that you did so many things. We've finished about 10 minutes in this interview. I want to go into a quick rapid fire. A lot of applicants every year apply to Loma Linda. They invite the most number of people to their bench tests. So I'm going to go through a quick set of questions and you can answer them right after. Hope you're okay with that.
Yes, I'm totally okay.
Okay. Tell us about the Loma Linda supplementals. Since they concentrate a lot on faith, how do we answer them?
I would say just write whatever you feel in your heart because they'll ask you the same question in the interview as they did with me. They asked me what were my religious beliefs. So I said I'm religious and I believe in Sikhism and it has three principles. I told them in Punjabi and the interviewer wrote them down and he said I will Google and I will search about them. So whatever your actual beliefs are, just write that.
I recall Nourah mentioning how Islam and Christianity actually have common origins as an Abrahamic
Right.
religion and stuck to her truth. Fantastic. Next quick rapid fire question was about the bench exam. What exercises did they specifically ask?
I know Loma Linda from last 5 years, they're always asking class to cavity. They invite 400 students over 4 days and organize the exam. And then you have to be really, really good at, I would say, the bench test because I know I got 5 out of 5 and then 75 people got invited and then further they had the bench test. Quickly about the bench test, it's really interesting, really nice. People are awesome. My chair got changed thrice, and every time they changed my chair, they kept adding time to it. And towards the end, so many people came to me, the staff, and told me, you don't have to worry when the alarm rings because you'll get extra time. So I got extra time. They made me feel very comfortable. I would say everyone prepares their best. Every student is really good, but it's just that who keeps calm over there and doesn't spoil the thing because they give you 4 hours. So all you need is a lot of patience.
Interesting. How do you recommend someone should prep for the bench test?
I would say first start at home and then join any institute that you want to. And after you join the institute, come back home and practice a lot watching YouTube videos of Dr. Stevenson. I personally didn't take any coaching. I just took for 1 week and then I just used to watch Dr. Stevenson's videos and discuss with my friends and ask them to critique. But if you're very new and if you have a gap, it's good to join any institute. I know you guys also give very nice coaching and critiquing for the bench test. So, and there is Dr. Duggan's. There is also an institute in India. It's called ODA, and then in Canada also there are few.
Okay, interesting. But I definitely like the aspect of taking support from your friends to critique before going for professional options. Professional options are good, but they can also be a last resort.
Yeah.
Another one is based on your understanding of what Loma Linda, asked in the interview and the application. What kind of people do you think they're expecting in terms of a profile, like experience levels, where their location, and all that stuff?
I think Loma Linda wants very nice people, people who care about the community. Because my interviewer told me, you have done so much for the community. What motivated you to do that? And if I was not able to justify that, maybe I wouldn't be selected. So whatever you do, you have to justify. So I think they look for people who are caring and who care for the community. Secondly, of course, bench test is the key to get into the interview. Once you're in the interview, they really want to know you. My interview went on for 1 hour and 15 minutes, and I know by the end of the interview, he knew me who I was. And in my class, I've noticed everyone is super helpful. Everyone tries to, share whatever they know about, and they have a story just as strong as mine. And they've chosen very diverse people. So I think maybe I would say bench is the key first, and then in the interview, your own personality and what you've done for the community.
It's interesting. When people think of story, they think of something very dramatic, like running from a war, having separated parents. It doesn't have to be dramatic. A story has four
Right.
elements to it. Go Google it and try to craft your own story. Fantastic. In terms of the interview, what kind of questions did you face? I mean, you had one of the longest interviews in history, so tell us more.
I I think initially when my interviewer came, in his background, he had a very beautiful picture. like a picture. So I had read about him that he has interest in photography. So I started talking to him, is this picture taken by you? And so he started explaining, and he really liked that because I talked about his picture, and he uh, thought that I could connect with him. But some of the interesting questions that Loma Linda asked me were, teach me something in 5 minutes. So I couldn't think of anything, but I taught him an Indian dish. I would say what was important in that was not that I was teaching him a dish, was how organized I am when I'm telling him about something, right? And and he said, what do you think how your interview is going? So I think I said that this is the best day of my life that I'm interviewing with you, and probably you would be the best judge to tell me that. So he said, no, tell me percentage wise, how well is your interview going? So I said, I think I'm quite comfortable, and I think it's going 99% good. So maybe he was just checking my confidence with that. And then just the general questions. And then he asked me, what has been the most challenging thing in your life and how you overcame that? And then just the basic questions, why Loma Linda? And do you have any family support? Yeah, just these basic questions. And then lot of conversation in between. He last 10 minutes, he asked me to ask him a question. So I said that you've traveled to 15 countries. So which country was the best? So he said, I will tell you about India. And I met Mother Teresa. And then I talked about Mother Teresa. So we connected on a lot of things. So maybe that helped.
Interviews at Loma Linda are like going on a date without the alcohol. It's all about
Yeah,
relationship building.
that's true.
Awesome. Um, so, very, very interesting. I'll just maybe ask you one question because we're at 20 minutes. What do they mean when they say that you've had to attend, Christian missionary classes? Tell us about, like, there's a lot of confusion, tension about Loma Linda being a Christian institution, banning alcohol, having separate dorms for men and women. How do we coexist in that culture?
Very good question. So when I was in school in a Christian school, we always had a Sunday mass where we would go and just pray. They never forced any other religion on us. It's just that they asked us to be close to God, and that's what Loma Linda does, which also helps us, in our education and whatever we are doing in our daily life. So it's not compulsory to follow any of these things, but it's just that we also should respect other religions, not just Christianity, right? And if you Google, Loma Linda is one of those places all over the world where people live for more than 100 years. Like Japan is one. And then Loma Linda is one because people follow a very healthy lifestyle and simple, they're vegetarian. So honestly, I was looking forward to that because living for so many years in a metropolitan country and city, very fast paced life, I was very open to trying a healthy lifestyle and living like that. But again, there are not, everyone doesn't live like that, right? It's your wish. So there are no restrictions as people think. It's very open to everything that you want to do.
Yeah, speak to their similarities and speak about analogs of discipline. Fantastic. Wrinkle, we're at 20 minutes. I want to keep this short, but if there is one
Mhm.
last message that you would have to mention, what would that be? And how can people um, learn about Pink Tooth and get involved?
Sure. Yeah, for everyone, I want to tell you that in your application, there should be at least three things that you should focus on and connect the SOP, LOR, and the whole application with that. In my case, it was firstly community service, then resilience, and third leadership. So I gave examples of how from the beginning I have been involved into these three things, right? So through my experience in life, I've been resilient, and how I had leadership positions before, and then community service from my childhood onwards. So I would say whatever those three core things are, just connect everything with that, and then interview will be really easy. And about the pink tooth, I just want to say that I wanted to have a platform where I could interact with other dentists and also let them know about everyone's story, because everyone is so unique and they have their own story. So don't copy anyone. just be the best version of yourself. And then this way they'll get to see journey of different people, and also my life in school, because right now we don't know how life in school is. Like, I don't know how it is to go to school, but I want people to know that before they enter school, and something for what they are really working hard, they should know what it entails. And then I just love fashion, so I put fashion posts just for a little bit of fun.
How can people get in touch with Pink Tooth, and how can they stay involved? Is there a portal?
Yeah, it's on Instagram, and they can just DM me and they can follow me, and then they'll see whatever is happening there, and they can always give suggestions. I'm very open to putting up anything that they want to see.
Awesome, Rinkal. I wish you all the best. And by next Super Bowl, I hope that Pink Tooth grows to become a a much larger community. Um, so with that, let's close this call and say bye to everyone. Uh,
Thank you so much. Bye, everyone. And Karthik, you'll be my next guest at the Pink Tooth.
sure.